Hi. So today I'm at my office again. You can see the sea behind me slightly through the bushes and probably hear the waves going quite strong, rolling against the shore. I was clearing up my house and decided the sun is out. It's not going to be like this tomorrow. I've come to my office, so here I am. So today I'm thinking about judgment, and I've been thinking about judgment quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. And I'm thinking about finger pointing and something I said to my daughter when we were discussing something around judgment, where we forget when we point the finger of judgment, we're actually pointing one finger at someone else but three fingers back at ourselves. And most people know this, but we forget. So thinking about that and realising we make split-second judgments. We make judgments about everything so quickly, especially when we're in a busy world. We make judgments about what we see, what we feel, what we hear. And we often speak without thinking. I know I do. And it kind of got me thinking to the whole way we interact, and the whole way we feel around others, and why we act the way we do, and how we feel the way we do. We make judgments about judgments. I had a scenario not so long ago where my grandson, who's very little, made a judgment about somebody's physical appearance, and it wasn't nasty, it was just an observation. And I found myself saying to him, that's not a nice thing to say, is it? And actually that was a judgment on my part. He didn't think it was nice or not nice, it was an observation, and that's how he saw it. And that really made me think. We make judgments about things because we worry that we might not be liked. We worry what people will say if we don't agree with them, or if we don't join in with their judgment. Or we try and pull people in to our energy field to make us feel better about what we want to say, when sometimes we can just say something as it is without a judgment. And also we feel an imposter a lot of the time in ourselves. Women especially suffer from that imposter syndrome if we don't put our best face on to the world. I thought about something the other day, and I'm looking at my notes here, in case you're judging me. But I wanted, what I had to say I felt was quite important, so I am using my notes. No judgments. I was thinking about something the other day around judgment and about how we keep ourselves small. And I really like to think I'm a very real, honest, say it as it is in a kindly manner type of person. I'm not financially wealthy, although I'm wealthy in lots of other ways. And I don't like pretending that I'm something I'm not. I don't like pretending I am wealthy when I'm not, and I don't like putting on a good show just so others will think well of me. Probably stems from my nan. She used to say, nobody likes a bragger, and don't be a show-off. Anyway, a friend came to visit me, some time ago this was, but the thought came to mind this week, and she used my bathroom. And when she came out, she was absolutely swooning. And she said, my God, you've got so much Chanel makeup in your bathroom, which I had, a whole box full. Gorgeous, yummy, love it. And she said, how much do you own? That must have cost hundreds of pounds. So, just at this juncture, just all the women that are watching this, if there is anyone, just have a think what you'd have thought if you'd have gone into somebody's bathroom and there was loads and loads of Chanel makeup everywhere. What would you have thought about the person? So instead of me kind of just smiling and saying, yeah, I know, it's lovely, isn't it? I launched myself into an enormous explanation about how I got it all at a car boot sale for 25 pence an item from a man who was selling it for his wife who worked for Chanel, and he didn't know how much to charge. Very lucky for me. I went on further to say how long I'd had it and any new bits I'd bought from eBay, and I couldn't possibly buy new because I wouldn't justify that, which I wouldn't actually, but I just went on and on and on instead of kind of just saying, yes, lovely, great, isn't it, without any explanation. And when I thought this week, I thought about this, I kind of asked myself, why do I do that? Why do I justify? Why do I sort of launch into these explanations? And thinking about it, I did it because I didn't want her to think that, I was a show-off, and I didn't want her to think I was above my station. I didn't want her to think that I was not authentic, or if I was lying about when I say I don't have lots of money. And I began to see a pattern actually appear in the way I show myself to the world. I'm going to try and keep myself a bit small. I don't think money's a bad thing. It's more about wanting to be connected on somebody else's level, I think, and also about wanting to be liked. I mean, the bottom line of it all is I might not be liked, and worse, I might not be loved, and even worse, I might end up friendless, penniless, a bag lady, trekking the streets with an old rusty supermarket trolley. And I might die without making any meaning or any mark on the world. I know, I have a fertile mind. But you get the gist of it. So why do we rush into justification when we feel we're being judged? It's none of our business anyway, is it? If we were really fully confident and okay with our world, if somebody said, God, you're an orange, you'd just laugh. If someone says, God, you're such an imposter, would we feel devastated? I know I would. My mum was really good at the whole thing. She used to say, just let it go over your head, don't let it worry you. But I find myself sort of justifying and biting and swinging across the whole thing. So it came to me that I certainly, and I think the world, to be honest, in a lot of ways, we kind of all need a salve to put on when we're either about to judge and finger point or feel we're being judged. And the only salve that I can see that really works, there's all sorts of how-tos and psychoanalyst stuff and therapy stuff. The simple thing is, if we just came from a place of love and just decided we weren't going to judge and that we were just going to try and surround the interaction that we're having with somebody with love. And I practiced this a bit this week, which isn't always easy for me to practice what I preach, but I did. And instead of justifying, I said, which is a favourite thing of mine, I use it in my coaching all the time, but I said, yeah, you could be right, when somebody was trying to suck the joy out of my balloons. And I said, yeah, you could be right. I didn't burst into this kind of judgment about what she'd said. And also, I kind of sat with the surprise silence afterwards, and also you can kind of come up with, I think I'm doing all right. I said that to somebody, I think I'm doing okay. I don't really need a judgment. And again, just sit with the silence, and it's the silence that slays us, because we feel as soon as we've been brave and said something like, you could be right, we get really nervous and then have to jump in and justify as to why we've just said that. It's just practicing sitting with comfortable silence and trying not to have any attachment about whether they're going to like you or not, or after that death-defying sentence, ends up helping you feel a lot better. So I also practiced smoothing my mouth in salve before I spoke, and I kept a gap, or I tried to at least, between thinking and speaking. And hey ho, I felt a lot happier. I felt calmer, less stressed, definitely more brave, less worried, more connected, and actually much more loved, which is what it's all about really anyway, isn't it? So I'm going to finish now at my lovely office with the birds twittering, the empty beach, and the sun shining. And I just want to thank all the beautiful teachers who continue to hold a mirror up for me in order for me to look inwards. Can't say I always like it, but if I look inwards I always learn something. And sometimes those teachers don't even know they're doing it, but I'm thanking you anyway. And I want to thank all the lovely friends who continue to hold a great space for me to air my thoughts like this space, and help me feel connected, and that I'm making some meaning in my life. And above all, those lovely friends help me feel loved. So maybe next time you're about to judge, or you're feeling you are being judged, just take a step back maybe this week and just think about the whole thing about judgment. Maybe saying, you could be right, doesn't matter anyway. Or not pointing a finger at somebody and just using the love salve, keeping a gap between your thoughts and your voice. So I'm going to go and do some driftwood yoga now. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.